Right now at 6, Colorado is having wildfire fatigue.
This is going to be our new normal. Yeah, I hate for that to be the reality.
But we remain on high alert ahead of some of the worst fire conditions we have seen in years tomorrow.
Extreme high fire danger for tomorrow as our temperatures go up and our humidity levels go down.
This scam didn't cost her much money.
So I'm like, okay, I just got scammed for $150. I'm like, that's fine, whatever.
But it almost cost her family their lives.
My family is traumatized and we don't know how we're gonna get through this.
Plus, a big heart sometimes comes in a little package.
Then she came up with the idea of selling them and getting paid the money to give to Ukraine.
Well, good evening, everybody. Thank you for watching Denver 7 News at 6 tonight. I'm Shannon Ogden.
I'm Ann Trujillo. Fire danger will rise to a level tomorrow that we have only seen once on the Front Range since 2010.
So the National Weather Service says conditions will be extremely critical. This is from Castle Rock to Fort Collins and east toward the Kansas border.
We have seen the impact of the high fire danger all week long. There have been at least 5 fires, 3 alone in Boulder County, that have forced evacuations this week. And we just learned in the last 30 minutes that 15 structures were lost in yesterday's fire in Monte Vista, including homes and outbuildings.
Meteorologist Stacey Donaldson has our Denver 7 Action Day forecast. Stacey, more important than ever to be very, very careful tomorrow.
That's right. Anything that sparks tomorrow with the conditions that we have will be very hard to contain. We have critical and extreme fire danger here from Denver out across the eastern plains for tomorrow. The conditions that influence this, the wind, the dry conditions, and the hot weather. Our highs will be in the 80s tomorrow afternoon as our winds really pick up to around 65 miles an hour. At this point, they're around 40 to 45, and they will be high tomorrow along with low humidity levels. So right now we have 41-mile-an-hour gusts at DIA. Winds around 35 to 40 miles an hour into northeastern Colorado. And our humidity levels, they're going to go way down tomorrow between 5 and 10%. So it's going to be very dry and very warm, 80s and 90s for afternoon highs tomorrow during the day. So red flag warnings in effect here for eastern Colorado, along with high wind warnings for winds up to 65 miles an hour. Coming up a little bit later, we'll talk about tomorrow and the rest of the weekend in a few minutes.
Thank you, Stacey. In Boulder, Jefferson, and Douglas counties have already have stage 1 fire restrictions in place, and that means there can be no open burning of any kind. Arapahoe County has stage 2 fire restrictions in place, and those prohibit campfires and barbecues. And if you smoke, that is only allowed inside an enclosed space without vegetation.
So I want to give you an idea of just how easy it is for a fire to start right now. Boulder County says researchers at CU who are out flying a drone for severe weather studies caused the Table Mountain fire yesterday. The drone crashed, caused the battery to pop out and ignite. That fire caused evacuations, but thankfully no homes were threatened there. And our digital teams put together an in-depth article on the extreme fire danger on our website. You can find it right now on thedenverchannel.com. And then tomorrow, Governor Polis and state fire officials will update the wildfire outlook for this year.
Now, typically when we cover stories of scam victims, they're out thousands of dollars. Tonight, we introduce you to a woman who lost $150. And still, as Denver 7's Brian Wang shows us, it could have cost her family their lives.
¿Por qué andaba allá atrás? Dile, si esta es propiedad privada.
What were you doing here if it's private property?
It's this moment that has left this family traumatized. A man they've never seen, armed with 2 guns, looking for Jessica, showing up to their home Thursday. Thing is, Jessica Otero Garcia says she's never said those things, doesn't know the man, and doesn't even live at that Denver home anymore, but her family does.
He could have hurt my aunt, he could have hurt my cousin, he could have shot one of them.
20-year-old Omar Vargas was arrested shortly after, but how could this happen? Back in November, Otero Garcia saw a post on Facebook from someone posing as an old middle school friend.
And she's like, oh yeah, I'm here. I'm giving away money to teen moms to help them out.
Tara Garcia, a young mom herself, was wary but reached out anyway, thinking it was actually her friend.
They're like, you know what? The best way to do this is through Bitcoin, through Cash App.
She made the deposit before realizing she'd been scammed.
So I'm like, okay, I just got scammed for $150. I'm like, that's fine, whatever.
But she'd be fooled again. Otero Garcia then gets a message from what appeared to be Facebook asking for information to prove she owns the account. So she ended up providing her email, phone number, and eventually her driver's driver's license. Suddenly, she's locked out.
Then the next day, start getting messages from my family like, "Hey, why are you posting this?" And I was like, "What are you guys talking about?" Like, "No, you're posting that you're giving away money."
The scammer was using her profile to go after others. Then Thursday came around.
They're traumatized. My family is traumatized. And we don't know how we're going to get through this.
Otero Garcia says police told her that the suspect was also a victim of the scam and came for his money. According to DPD, Vargas is being charged for felony menacing with a weapon. As for the scammers, they're probably looking for their next victim. Denver 7, Bayan Wang.
And Otero Garcia's hacked account still active on Facebook. And we asked Facebook why it hasn't been removed despite multiple requests over the course of 5 months, and so far, no reply.
Today, Governor Polis gave permission for Coloradans to pretty much do what they've been doing for months. He held a press conference to say that fully vaccinated people can feel comfortable to live their lives as normal. The governor says the virus isn't gone, but says that 90% of Coloradans have immunity now. We've actually seen COVID cases increase now 4 straight weeks here. Today, more than 2,000 new cases reported in Colorado. The state health department says right now the BA2 variant is the one of most concern.
Colorado's air quality is pretty lousy, and lawmakers are trying to encourage all of us to do our part with a series of incentives. Denver 7's Megan Lopez shows us how.
Between the windy weather and blooming buds, it doesn't take much to notice that spring has returned to Colorado.
This year, I would say, has been my busiest year.
For Martin Church from Eco Lawn and Garden, that means back to busy season.
More and more people are looking for the quiet lawn care.
His company, one of a handful in Colorado, relying on all-electric lawn equipment. After years of working with gas-powered mowers and blowers,
I was sick of breathing in the fumes.
So he started his own company and made the switch.
The equipment's lighter, for one. They're very quiet and they're easy to use. There's very little maintenance on them at all.
Lawn equipment contributes to roughly 10% of Colorado's ozone in a state with poor air quality.
Things are really challenging here in the state of Colorado.
So Colorado lawmakers are working on a package of climate bills to try to tackle the problem, like Senate Bill 138, which among other things would offer a 30% tax credit for people to buy electric lawn equipment.
So they walk to the cash register and they receive their tax credit. So they don't have to put extra money up front and then claim it later and, lose the receipt.
Another bill would offer a 13% discount for people and businesses to switch out their furnaces.
If we can switch over to heat pumps, not only do we reduce pollution, but we also drastically reduce costs because the monthly utility bills go down.
And then there's Senate Bill 193, which would offer grants to districts to move to electric school buses and for low-income families to buy e-bikes.
What we want to do is we want to make them cheaper. That allows anybody who wants one to get one.
Republicans, however, say the market's already moving that way, so the state doesn't need to use taxpayer money to meddle.
Over time, those changes are going to happen anyway, and there's really no reason to push people and to make them pay for this.
Particularly at a time when everything is more expensive.
I truly believe that Coloradans know how to save themselves money.
And Max Boykoff from CU Boulder admits, even with all these consumer changes,
those kinds of individual actions really honestly only makes modest greenhouse gas reduction.
Still, he says every little bit helps when you're talking about something as big as climate change.
It's going to take some time, but we need to get started right away.
Depending on your perspective, these bills are an incentive to move faster or wasted money on the inevitable. Megan Lopez, Denver 7.
Another bill to offer free transit passes during high ozone months in the summer is also making its way through the legislature. It would last the next 2 summers.
I would like to introduce you to Declan and Finnegan from Evergreen. Now, Declan, here in yellow, he's 7. Finnegan is his 6-year-old brother in blue, Mom Alice there in the back. So like so many of us, the boys heard about the war in Ukraine and wanted to do something. Unlike most of us, they did something. They put together blue and yellow plastic Easter eggs with a Hershey's Kiss and a positive message inside each and sold them for $2 a piece, with proceeds going to Ukraine relief efforts. So I tracked down the boys yesterday and asked how they came up with this idea.
We got all the Easter eggs out from the other years, and we couldn't find the yellow's cap, so we put the blue cap on. And then Finnegan noticed that I was a Ukrainian egg. Then when Mom was tucking me in, I said that to her. Then she came up with the idea of selling them and getting paid the money to give to Ukraine.
So Declan says they've been selling them at Nick's mom's gym, at the office, and maybe at school. And I don't know where any of those places are or who Nick is. But the important thing is they've already raised $1,500. And tomorrow their mom is sending the money to UNICEF to help displaced children of Ukraine. So while I had them on the phone there, I also asked them to tell me what they knew about what was going on in Ukraine.
Putin's trying to take over Ukraine, but he got mad, so he started destroying the buildings so they would have to move.
You described it better than I'm describing it on the news. I'll tell you that. Keep up the good work, and with your help and your hard work and a little bit of luck, maybe this whole mess over there will end soon.
Thank you.
They've sold 350 eggs. They have 50 more to go. Very impressive work. Very impressive boys too.
It is make or break time for the Nuggets. We take you live to Ball Arena with the Nuggets season hanging in the balance.
Time is of the essence.
They know that this has shortened the development cycle for new products.
A Colorado company is carving out the future of 3D printing and changing manufacturing in the process.
The cycle time for product development has dramatically changed with this industry.